Why, hello everybody, so welcome to another review as read. Today's book is Magic the Gathering Invasion Cycle Book 1 by J. Robert King. So, first thing again, this is going to go in the same format, a introduction, the bads of the book, the goods of the book, and of course a conclusion. So, let's begin. So the introduction to this book is, of course, this is of a series of books, just I only got book 1 because I got this at a book sale. And this is from the Magic the Gathering, based on the Magic the Gathering card game, which is extremely popular and has some resonance with me because I actually started playing the card game at Ice Age, and this is the set that I actually stopped playing. If you want to hear that story, you can basically go listen to another video, which I will link video, My Rise and Fall in Magic the Gathering. And basically this story is about Gerard Caspian, who's again the Weatherlight crew, basically coming in to save the planes and save the world of Dominaria from the invasion of Phyrexian by Yakmoth and his Phyrexian army. And of course, in between, you got the big factor of Urza Planeswalker and the other Planeswalker to save, coming together as an army and all to save the world. So now that the introduction is done, first things first, what's the bad? Well, actually it starts off strangely bad because the most bad thing of the book is amazing this guy, who's supposed to be the protagonist, and he's just boring. You know, basically he's the standard, I'm a bad guy, but now I found my love, and I want to do good, I want to save the world, and the crew is always so, like the super leader that everybody trusts. It's just so boring. And on top of that, I don't want to spoil it, but there are situations which they do the impossible, which especially near the end of the book. So I won't spoil it, but it really nags at me that they're able to do something which even the lead enemy says it's not possible. So anyway, that is my major issue with the book. But on top of that, I must say that the book is very it's good on itself. But if you have some knowledge on, like myself, I played the card game, so I knew about what Phyrexians look like from the cards, and I knew about Urza and all that. If you have some knowledge of Magic the Gathering, especially the invasion cycle, this set of cards, or even the story, it really does bring the book out a lot more than if you just read it by itself, if you knew nothing about Magic the Gathering. But that being said, if you didn't know anything, I would still think it's a good read. Very good for setting up a knowledge on how to write basically a good war story. So basically I've already gone into it, but let's go into the good of it. The good of it, amazingly, which I think is actually the main focus of the story, amazingly above Gerard Caspian. I think this is also what the author feels, that Urza Planeswalker, basically almost a god of the Magic the Gathering. Basically, he's the guy that you would play casting spells and all that, and monsters. He actually concentrates a lot more on Urza and his group of Planeswalkers, the war, with like Mulatani, who's used basically a green deck person and all that. And that one, I must say, is a much most of the book amazingly concentrates on that side of it, where the Planeswalkers are fighting against the Phyrexian and Urza comes in to help and all. Very little is actually based, or the book is based on Weatherlight and Gerard, which is good because every time their story comes out, I get bored most of the time. And J. Robert King, amazingly, is one of in the last few books, you saw my reviews, he's the first one I would think that really makes a big campaign battle, really a good read. How Urza and his Planeswalkers had to deal with a war on multiple fronts against a very, very superior enemy. He really makes it work. You really do feel the tension, like you have to sacrifice. How, like, basically you can see how they calculated Urza has to make other people give up their families and even their lands, and how he has to deal with people having different ideals compared to him, but when his goal is actually also pretty selfish. And you really get invested in Urza and all the other planeswalkers. Basically, to me, these guys are just toss away characters in my view from this one book. And again, I'm reviewing this book as this because, like I said, I don't have the rest of the books because I bought this as a second from a book sale. And well, on top of that, very importantly, I'm poor. So, and on top of that, this is a series, but like I said, as a contained book, it actually finishes and I feel pretty satisfied, although there is some kind of a sequel bait at the end. But really, if I was to just read this, I don't feel like I got cheated in any way, unlike the Warrior King. And on top of that, if you really are keen, you can easily find the next few parts of the story in summary online. So, in conclusion, amazingly, there are downsides whenever they come up, but if you want to learn how to write about a good campaign war story, and basically about a great character that you really get invested in, like Urza, Barin, and all the planeswalkers, this is a read. I was very surprised because, like I said, when I first started reading and it was about him, I was bored, and I thought, oh shit, this is going to be a bad read. But by the end, I was totally invested and I was reading quite a bit. So, a good read, definitely enjoyed it, and I would recommend it. So, thank you very much. Till next word.